And you're listening to the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game.
All right, not only do I not feel good about that win yesterday, although it is a win and they're one game over 500, I guess you got to take them when they come, right? Especially with this team this season. But Loebman came up with a great question during our show chat last night. We're discussing the Warriors and everything that's going on. By the way, Brian Baldinger, 7:30 for the last time during the football season. Going to miss Baldy. We'll break down the Super Bowl. And then D. Wright. His brother DeLon yesterday playing with the Wizards had a nice little game off the bench. We'll talk to D. Wright at 8 o'clock here on the Roast. But the question of the day from Sam Lubman, Lubman's Lexicon. What is frustrating you the most about the Warriors this season? What is frustrating you the most about the Golden State Warriors this season? 888-957-9570, Shasky. You get the first at bat. What is frustrating you the most about the Warriors this season?
That's a loaded question because I can go in 15 different spots.
Go like 30 different spots if you want.
It just feels like to me the lack of sense of urgency overall is alarming to me. And I understand when you're a champion, and I understand when you've built a good record, right? Like last year, they built an 18-2 record. You've heard a lot about this. There's a cushion. They can settle in. They can work on some stuff. They have never had a 2-week stretch where I'm like, yep, this is that championship team that I recognize.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing. And then not only have they not had that stretch, there's games like last night where even though they won the game, which I'm glad they won the game,
right,
it just feels so lackluster. It felt like a pickup game.
It did. It sure did.
And then like on top of that, the constant scapegoating, deferring, and blaming. And what I mean is it's always the young guy's faults, the bench's fault. It's load management's fault. It's so many, like it's never their fault. It's never them. Like, hey, we can't lock in for the final 5 minutes of a game and close someone out. Hey, we're not executing well enough in the half court late in games to be offensively dynamic enough to win. We are not playing good first quarter defense. Mm-hmm. You know, like you never hear that kind of accountability. And so it's bugging me, man. It's really bugging me. I would say the two things that if I had to boil it down then would be accountability. I'm talking about player accountability, and then lack of sense of urgency. It's really annoying me. Yesterday, I watched Jordan Poole, and I will defend Jordan Poole to the high heavens.
Yeah, even more so than Clay. I'm kidding.
I watched Jordan Poole fall down 15 times and turn the ball over 3 consecutive possessions in the second quarter, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you? He doesn't value the basketball.
Right.
And that's a microcosm for the rest of the team because there's times when other guys don't. There's another moment in time, like they talk about sense of urgency. It's what drives me crazy is when I watch Steve Kerr. Kuminga loses his man off ball, okay? Guy goes baseline, gets a layup. Kerr slams the timeout. He's going to ream Kuminga, put him on the bench. Steve, your entire team isn't playing good defense right now.
Exactly.
And you're going to point out Kuminga and then put him in the doghouse?
Exactly.
Come on, Steve.
So, most frustrating part for me.
I feel like he takes it out. All his anger that he's got on the vets, he takes out on the young guys.
No doubt.
That's my impression of it.
Most frustrating part for me.
I'm sorry. I went in like 5 directions.
Yeah, I know. You went like 5 minutes.
This team is very annoying right now.
We're going to go take him to school in just a second. Most frustrating part for me, and there's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer. The consistency, the load management. But to me, the biggest thing is Steve Kerr and the youngsters. Steve Kerr and the youngsters, because all of a sudden, a segment of this fan base just went straight to them saying, you know what? It's on them.
Always.
And I feel like Steve Kerr hasn't held the veterans accountable because of the championships, and I get it. But there hasn't been equal treatment here. And I get all the equity, pardon me, all the equity that Draymond and Clay and Steph have built up. But there's a situation like Cleveland, the Cleveland game. They come on the road, nobody's playing, they win that game. But Jordan Poole, he picks up a delay a game, and Steve just reams him in front of everybody.
That's what I'm saying.
Reams him. Same situation yesterday. The Kuminga loses his man off ball. I see Klay Thompson do it all the time. Timeout real quick, you're out the game. You only played 13 minutes. And to me,
And you do it in front of everyone.
you do it in front of everyone
'Cause it was so
you want to
obvious.
undress the youngsters,
Exactly.
But the veterans get all this leeway because they won championships. Hell, the veterans, and I've said this all season long. You can look at how many games you want to go. You want to go Boston? You want to go Minnesota? You want to go
The Washington loss?
Washington what? No, they beat Washington twice.
No, the one where not Washington. I'm thinking Detroit. The Detroit one.
Detroit game.
When what's his face hit the
Sadiq
shot.
Bey.
Thank you.
Orlando.
They should have won
Charlotte,
that game.
Miami. Orlando. I mean,
Minnesota.
Minnesota. I said the Lakers.
Wow.
The Lakers. They have fourth quarter leads. The veterans blew those games down the stretch. The veterans turned the ball over down the stretch. The veterans took poor shots.
The veterans are hurt too. That's the other thing. Like the old guys are hurt.
So they get this pass. And so for me, the lack of accountability for them, the lack of accountability from the veterans, the lack of accountability from Steve Kerr on coaching up the youngsters, developing the youngsters, not playing. And then some of the things about Wise was like, yeah, there was just no avenue for him to play. However, we really, truly believe he's going to be a good player.
And what's the one thing they need right now? They're like, we'll take
Size.
a developmental center. I'm like, you
need
just had
size. You had vertical
one.
spacing.
Like what?
So
They're talking out the side of their mouth.
I don't like what I'm feeling. I don't feel the vibe right now. In the
That is
GP2
the way to put it.
situation, the vibe right now, I just don't like it. We all need the All-Star break. The Warriors need it so bad. And we'll see what happens tonight. We'll see who plays. We heard last night, late during Steve Kerr's presser, that they made clear Clay to play in the back-to-back.
That's he thought. I guess Anthony Slater wrote in his article today, and there was a quote from Clay. We don't have the sound, but he basically was like, "Yeah, it's a big milestone." He anticipates that he'll play today.
That's good.
At least
That's
that was
cool.
the impression leaving the arena last night.
That makes me feel a little better.
Oh, makes you feel
and
really good.
And Clay's been giving everything
dude,
to this organization. Clay's been dynamite.
Of all the guys that have been available this year,
Right.
he's been more of an Iron Man than
Right.
most.
And
You know what I
he gives
mean?
you everything that he has every single game.